Hello and welcome to Spectral Searches. I'm here at the Stonegate Inn in Orillia, and I tried getting here earlier a few weeks ago, but there's a big snowstorm and I couldn't make it. So upon booking this hotel, I did email and I asked for the room with the most paranormal activity or the most haunted room. And when I did that, they responded back saying that they can't oblige by that because their hotel is not haunted. So thanks for coming out, and if you're going to be doing your own spectral searches, I guess don't come here. But I do kid, because a lot of places that we've investigated have actually said that they're not haunted, and whether or not we've actually found anything is really debatable. If you ever watch any of our videos with any of my other friends, we always have our post-investigation discussions, and every time we end up saying we don't really have a definitive answer if we discovered something or not, because all the time it's up for speculation as to whether or not it's an external source that's causing it or something internal. So, you know, every place we've been to that we've actually asked about it, with the exception of the back house or places that pitch the idea of being haunted, have said they're just old buildings, they creak, they make noises, it's not haunted. However, looking at things online, people do say that they've seen things in a wide variety of things. So, you know, we'll get to that in a moment. I'm just going to start setting up, and then we'll kind of go through the different things that we're looking for and how we're going to do that throughout the night.
The Stonegate Inn is a historic landmark with a rich history that dates back over a century. The inn has been a notable feature in the community, providing both a glimpse into Orillia's past and a charming atmosphere that attracts visitors today. The Stonegate Inn resides in Orillia, located in central Ontario, and sits on land historically inhabited by Indigenous peoples, primarily those of the Anishinaabe Nation. The Anishinaabe are part of a larger cultural and linguistic group that includes the Ojibwe, Ottawa, and Potawatomi peoples. This area is part of the broader territory known as the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe. The Anishinaabe peoples, including the Ojibwe, Ottawa, and Potawatomi nations, have lived in the broader Great Lakes region, including the area around Orillia, for thousands of years. The exact timeline of their presence in this region is difficult to pinpoint with precision, but archaeological evidence and oral histories suggest that the ancestors have lived here for at least several thousand years. Before this, though, archaeologists have found evidence of early indigenous cultures in the Great Lakes region that predate the Anishinaabe by thousands of years. For example, the Archaic period, about 8000 BCE to 1000 BCE, and Woodland period, 1000 BCE to 1000 CE, saw the development of complex societies in the region, including the ancestors of the Anishinaabe people. Before European settlers arrived, the land around Orillia was rich in natural resources and strategically located between Lake Ontario to the south and Lake Huron to the northwest. The region served as an important crossroads for trade, and its forests, lakes, and rivers provided sustenance and transportation for the Anishinaabe people. The Ojibwe were especially prominent in the area, and their way of life was closely tied to fishing, hunting, and gathering, with seasonal migration patterns between the lakes. Early contact began in the 1600s when French explorers such as Samuel de Champlain passed through the Great Lakes region. By the late 17th century, French fur traders had established posts and began to develop relationships with the indigenous nations. The Anishinaabe people were important allies in the fur trade, and they helped the French navigate the waterways and survive the area. However, this period of contact also brought new challenges, such as the spread of diseases like smallpox, which devastated indigenous populations. European settlers began moving into the region in the 19th century, leading to tension over land, resources, and cultural differences. Orillia itself was first settled by European settlers in the early 1800s, with land grants issued to the settlers in the area. By the mid-19th century, the area had developed into a small community, benefiting from its position as a port and transportation hub due to its proximity to the Severn River and its access to the Huronian region. This made a natural point of settlement and development. During the 19th century, many Anishinaabe people in the area were displaced from their traditional land as a result of settler encroachment. The Treaty of 1818, also known as the Simcoe Treaty, and the Toronto Purchase of 1787 were among agreements that affected the land around Orillia. These treatments, often signed under duress or without the full understanding of their implications by the indigenous peoples, led to the loss of large swaths of traditional territory. In addition to these formal agreements, there were also informal settler Aboriginal conflicts and competition for land and resources. By the mid-19th century, most indigenous peoples had been moved to reserves in other areas, leaving the land around Orillia largely occupied by European settlers. Today, Orillia is part of the Simcoe County and is a thriving town known for its tourism, arts, and cultural heritage. However, the land still holds deep significance to the Anishinaabe people, and many descendants of the original inhabitants continue to live in nearby communities and reserves. Orillia's history is therefore not just one of European settlement, but also a continuation of the rich and complex heritage of the Anishinaabe people, whose presence in the region long predates the European colonization. The Stone Gate Inn was originally constructed in the early 1900s, though its exact date of construction varies depending upon the source. One common understanding is that it was built around 1910 by a local businessman. The inn was constructed as a high-quality, luxurious accommodation for visitors to Orillia, which was beginning to develop as a popular tourist destination at the time. The original purpose of the inn was built as part of a community's effort to accommodate these growing numbers of tourists and provide upscaling lodging and services. As Orillia grew in importance, particularly after the arrival of the Ontario and Simcoe Railway in the late 19th century, there was an increasing demand for accommodations that reflected the town's new role as a destination for visitors from Toronto and beyond. The Stone Gate Inn catered to a more affluent clientele and became known as a place for high-end accommodations and services. While the inn has undergone renovations over the years to meet modern standards and tastes, many of its historic elements have been preserved, which contributes to its charm and its status as an important local heritage site. Throughout its long history, the Stone Gate Inn has undergone various changes in ownership. Over the decades, it has served as a private residence, a boutique hotel, and a venue for social events such as weddings and corporate retreats. In recent years, the Stone Gate Inn has been restored and operated as a boutique hotel. It remains a popular lodging option in Orillia, offering visitors a blend of historic charm and modern amenities. The inn is celebrated for its personalized service, beautiful gardens, and its role as a key part of the town's history and tourism scene. Like many historic buildings, the Stone Gate Inn has a reputation for being haunted, which adds an intriguing aspect to its lore. Some guests and staff have reported unusual occurrences, such as strange sounds, apparitions, and other paranormal activity. Some of the paranormal activity that has been recorded includes the following. The phantom music. Guests and staff have claimed to hear the sound of piano music coming from the inn's empty ballroom or certain areas of the building late at night. The ghost of a woman in white. The legend of the woman in white is one of the most common themes in haunted locations, and the Stone Gate Inn has its own version. Guests have reported sightings of a female apparition dressed in a flowing white gown. The figure is often seen in the halls or near the staircase, walking as though she's going somewhere. Cold spots and unexplained temperature drops. Another commonly reported phenomenon is the presence of cold spots in certain areas of the inn, particularly on the upper floors or near windows. Guests have noted that even when the heating is on, some rooms or hallways feel inexplicably cold. Disembodied voices and whispering. Many guests and staff members have reported hearing disembodied voices or whispering sounds within the inn, especially when alone. The sounds may seem to come from within the walls or around corners, contributing to the unsettling nature of the inn. Apparitions of former guests or staff. There have been numerous accounts from both staff and guests of seeing figures who seem out of place in the modern-day inn. These apparitions may be seen in period clothing, suggesting that they belong to an earlier era. Some guests have described seeing people walking through the lobby or around the hallways who vanish when approached. The haunted stairs. The inn staircase is a particular focal point of paranormal activity. Guests have reported hearing footsteps ascending or descending the stairs when no one is visibly in the vicinity. Unexplained shadows and movements. Some visitors have experienced sightings of shadows moving across the walls or corners of rooms when no one is present. These shadows appear to move deliberately, as though a person is walking or passing through the room. The ghost of a former owner or resident. Some of the most persistent rumors of the Stonegate Inn involve a ghostly figure said to be a former resident or owner of the property. We covered this much history of the area to establish that many people have lived on the land, with evidence of cultures going back as far as possibly 8,000 BCE. The area must be filled with love, loss, grief, disagreements, and more that could add to the chance of capturing evidence or ghosts or the paranormal. The Stonegate Inn has a rich history, and the paranormal activity ranges from music to full-bodied apparitions. The events are cascaded throughout the inn, making a great location for investigations. So when we're investigating, it's important to determine what type of haunting we are investigating. There are two types. Residual hauntings, which can have many characteristics, such as orbs, EVP sessions that catch repeated phrasing, the sounds of footsteps, apparitions that are disinterested in their environments, and opening and closing of doors, just to name a few. Alternatively, there are also intelligent hauntings. Intelligent hauntings can include many of these same phenomena but will have an intelligent reaction. Moving items, communications over EVPs, Ouija boards, etc. From phantom music, footsteps, voices, cold spots, shadow people, orbs, and apparitions, it should give a large area to cover and lots to review. We are also near a body of water, so we'll need to take into account elementals as well. Fortunately, there are no widespread documentations of demons or malevolent hauntings. The Stonegate Inn offers a wide range of paranormal activity and notable reoccurrences of activity which will add to the chance of capturing the evidence. So with all that being said, it's time to go out and search the spectral plane.
Okay, so, if you watch any of my videos before, you know that I'm not really that outgoing of a person. Generally, I come with other people because they're a lot more energetic, they're a lot more talkative than I am. I kind of like to kind of approach things more on a scientific basis and, look at creating SOPs, creating standardized methods of us doing our work so that we can reproduce them later on down the road. So I'm going to try to be more talkative in this, especially because I am alone. So yeah. All right, so I'm just gonna start setting up some cameras. Probably trying to place them in areas that when they're on, I can adjust them to being kind of watching where I'm sleeping and try to get the entire room all in. So I've got this one over here. Gonna try to hopefully catch this and a bit of the bathroom. And then I'm going to set this one up over here, which I'll turn it so that it's facing more of this kind of corner of the room. Yeah, that's the plan. I've also got to thank Papa Frank for lending me his GoPro, just to give more than one camera angle at a time. I think what I'm going to do this time is kind of go through the various equipment that we have that I've got set up already and a little bit of what we're going to be doing, and then I'll kind of get through that a little bit more. So I did bring spirit box and some headphones. We also have our sprays from Moon Cadences. I believe Moon Cadences changed their name to Moon Shadow Alchemy. You can find them on Facebook. I'm sure I'll put a link in the description below. We also have over here, more so for determining wind flow and stuff. We do have just a simple lighter, and basically, if you've seen any movies, if there's an air, like a breeze coming through, you can easily check just by holding a lighter up. I grabbed some black tourmaline, which is supposed to be protecting. We've got our audio recorder as well. Obviously, you have just the standard KII EMF reader. We have our digital thermometer here for looking at distances. 2-pack of max and min thermometers. On top of that, we have our spare cables in here as well. I'm not going to open all this up because I'm not going to use everything in here. And then we also have our laser grid, which I think I probably will use. And then finally, we do have some holy water from the River Jordan, blessed by a minister. So, you know, we can always do a little bit of a spray on our way out of here with the cleanse from our Wiccan friend. And we can use the holy water from our more Christian angle of it too. And then what would be a ghost hunt without some Scooby snacks, right? Boom, new camera angle. So the first thing then that I'm going to bring up is that there's apparently phantom music in the lobby. The second thing that I've already kind of tried to look into a little bit, and I'm probably going to tackle all these outside of the room sort of things at once, going forward, just continue to do so, is the ghost of a woman in white. And there's a legend that there is reportings of seeing this female apparition in a white gown, and this is a very common apparition that people see. Also, as I mentioned before, the idea of cold spots and unexplained temperature drops. The next one, again, looking at audio recording, you know, we've got disembodied voices and whispering. There is also apparitions of former guests and staff. So unless I wasn't talking to staff when I checked in, maybe that was a ghost. This one I think will be more interesting. There are also unexplained shadows and movements. And then there's also the ghost of a former owner or resident of the room. There are a number of things that we're going to be looking for. A lot of them are going to be outside of the room, and because it's a busy place, I don't want to be bothering other people. I'm going to do my best. But a lot of the shadows, a lot of the whispers, ghostly music, stuff like that, I think I can try to capture those things in the room. You know, we'll make a kind of a proclamation still too before starting. I'm hoping that kind of bring the energy, any ghosts, any spirits, you know, elementals, anything paranormal, hopefully bring that to here. And what we initially do here is, the lights just dim for a second. We have our periodic recordings checklist. And
This form will allow us to check initial instances of breezes, opening and closing of doors, EMF, and temperature, as well as the usage of holy water. We also periodically check these factors and utilize typical paranormal investigative techniques.
With all that being said, I'm going to go around and I'm going to start just kind of checking some of the values, and I will begin to write them down. Immediately, it's kind of interesting. This one has been clicking on and off, which it generally does. So generally these cameras do that when it's going back and forth between the infrared and the regular lighting, which would, you know, make it seem as though either this camera thinks that the lighting in here needs to alternate back and forth, or maybe the camera's just broken. Yeah, so basically what we've really established here is that this wall over here, there's definitely some EMF coming off over here, like an electromagnetic field of some sort that the KII is picking up. In addition, this back corner over here, we can see that the thermostat is actually giving off a fair amount as well. Surprisingly, maybe it's because it's turned off in the TV and the Wi-Fi over here, that they're not really giving off anything. Neither is the light over here. And then this back right corner is just a heyday. It's interesting, we actually get something kind of in this general area that I've noticed, just like little blips here and there. Now, you know, with regard to paranormal investigations, maybe that is something already that we're picking up on. It'll have to be documented, and that's why you do this periodic kind of sweep, right, to see if this is consistent, if it's always the same area, or if there is something kind of just in the presence of the room. Okay, so same sort of thing, you know, first entrance into the bathroom over here, there was a little bit of a blip, just going kind of to the second light there, and only very faintly. So I'm going to write these things down, and maybe do some temperature changes. I will say though, right here there actually is a colder feeling than in other areas of the room. That being said though, there is also a vent right above in the bathroom, so you know, it could just be that the vent is there making it colder, probably, but it is something to keep a note of, so I'm going to write these things down. There's the fridge. Anyways, it's amazing how much you can spook yourself when you're by yourself. Write these things down. Just seeing what doors open and close easily. This door that leads to the other room, that's deadbolted shut, and then this one is also shut and locked. So I don't see those opening or closing, and if they do, I'm going to be incredibly alarmed. So this is the only one that I really need to test, so I'm just going to see how easy it is. I'm not used to the GoPro, so... So it does look like... I don't know what that means. It looked like it switched to taking a photo? Alright, so that's pretty fucking weird. Yeah, I'm just gonna try to see what this door is like. I don't know, it's a pretty heavier door, but the air vent is right behind it, so if it does close for some reason, I really don't see it doing it, but if it does, I would imagine it'd be because of airflow, but it probably depend on the intensity of which it closed. The noise we heard was it switching to the camera mode instead of taping mode, and I think it took a whole bunch of pictures by itself and then saved them. So the pictures it took would have been just a picture of my little carrying case. I don't think we're gonna see anything, but that's pretty weird, and I feel like that's probably something noteworthy that I'll save for later. Between that, same as a cold spot here, little blips on the EMF, and then the fridge making noises, I know this all just random things happening, but all of them at once make you feel like something's going on. I mean, sometimes it just feels like, why wouldn't that happen, you know? Why wouldn't the bag fall right then, right when I'm looking for it, you know, right when I'm looking at it? You can definitely hear some voices. You go to the door, I don't know, there's vents. I mean, you gotta assume there's probably just venting going through all this as well. I hear someone talking. I don't know if it's in the hallway below us or above us. And you hear some thumping, which, especially because it seemed like a very prominent, like, male kind of voice, but it could have just been someone working in the lobby, like this hallway. Hopefully I'll be able to piece together. Okay, really up until this point, we haven't really done anything to kind of elicit communication. This has just been getting baselines and making sure that we know what we're not looking for, which is, of course, just natural EMF, man-made EMF, and so on. So I'm probably going to let my phone charge for a bit, take a look at that GoPro and see if I can figure out why it's making weird noises or if that's something of interest. I hear they have a gym here, so I might go check that out and see if I can get a quick little workout in before continuing. And then probably get some food. And then after that, I think we'll kind of go forward with the actual investigation. I'll also come in and kind of check all the thermometers and whatnot and just see what's changed. You know, the temperature's dropped over here already. The temperature seems steady in the bathroom. So that's what we're gonna do. So check back in here in a bit. Well, I mean, I found the gym. Let's see if I can't get a bit of a workout in, I guess.
After a quick workout, I took the opportunity to explore some of the more public areas of the inn and even find a new location that would be great to investigate.
By far, this is the creepiest thing that I have seen here. You can only use a deadbolt when you're already inside the room. Is that to say that people are gonna try to break in while I'm inside? That's nerve-wracking. Never open door prior to verifying. Report suspicious persons or acts. Oof. I wonder how many people are reporting me right now. Okay, I got the shirt on now. You know, I went down, I had a nice little workout, and I think it's about time that we actually start doing a bit more paranormal investigation. Just saying to any spirits or ghosts or entities, whether it be elementals as we're nearby water, someone that may have been alive that is no longer with us, someone that may not realize that they have transitioned on and are struggling to communicate with others. As we said, spirits, I welcome you to communicate with us and to interact during the duration of time of which we are here. And by we, of course, mean of which I am here. And we're just here to learn. I'm just here to talk, to see what I can learn about who's here, about some of the stories here, about the history, and anything you can tell us or tell me about what else there is and what else comes next. Let's just give it a go. It smells delightful. Without further ado, let's get going. As I'm doing this, you can hear the security cameras are turning on their infrared instead of utilizing just regular camera. I'm not sure what the term is for that, but something to keep a note of if you're hearing clicking noises. Although I have to say that last noise, that wasn't a camera. Something just moved over here. I think that maybe this wire just moved a bit. I did just turn off this light over here, so I kind of wonder if maybe the wire kind of plopped down. All right, so let's just get started with our room here. Is there anyone here with us? If there is anyone here, you're welcome to come over to this chair here. We have various methods that you can communicate. We have this green light over here. If you want, you can come and interact with the green light. Interacting with that will let me know that you're here. And additionally, we have a recording device over here that you could speak into. And when I review it later, I can see if you've answered any questions. I think on the premise of the idea that it might take spirit or spirits or ghosts or entities, an element of energy to communicate, it might be worth just giving those breaks. You know, I mean, I'm still here, we still have automated things set up. There's a lot of things that you can do without me pestering ghosts or spirits. You know, seeing apparitions out of the corner of your eye, and it being more frequent when you're not actually trying to look for it, when you're not trying to capture it. And think about that with, you know, if these are just people, if you're looking at intelligent hauntings rather than residual hauntings, you know, would you want to sit in a room where everyone is, you know, talking around you but not really directly answering you, and maybe try, you know, I'll do kind of the periodic checks, see if anything has changed in that, and then I'll try something else again maybe in a little bit. I don't know if you can see this, but it is going off consistently now. It's pretty interesting. And the one thing I was trying to do there was just see if it's perhaps the small responses I was getting when it was over here were from the TV or the cable box or the camera. But I was trying to see if it was just that monoaxal line coming in, but there's absolutely nothing now. And a minute ago it was going crazy. You know, there's stray EMF that can be happening. Maybe someone's doing something upstairs, or something with the wiring, something with the heating. I don't know what's out here, what's around here, if there's power lines nearby or anything like that. But I would have expected there to be some consistency from the first 2 times I've done the walk arounds the past couple hours, and then going right from asking for some responses, getting nothing, saying we're going to stop, getting mad readings everywhere, and then putting it down, asking if someone's there, and it's stopping again. It's almost the opposite of what you'd expect. Alright, so time to take a quick drink of water, some Scooby snacks, some chips maybe, give our ghosty friend, if there's a ghosty friend, or a paranormal entity might be here, give it a break, and we'll continue shortly. Okay, so I think the next thing that we're going to try to do is, because we're getting some results with the K2, I'm going to bring it back out again. I'm going to move from the chair, though. As we did discuss, there is a lot of EMF that are kind of coming from all sides of it, so I'm going to kind of put this back to over more central in the room. I did, you know, have no results, and then on the last recording I did there was a lot of results all at once. So I'm going to do that, coupled again with our audio recorder, just place it nearby. We're also going to try to utilize our laser grid at the same time. See if we can't kind of see any movement within the laser grid, but I think in order to really capture that, I'm going to have to turn off all the lights, which might make it hard to see me, but I don't think that matters too much what we're going to try to do. So if there is, you know, anybody there, you are welcome to walk past these green dots here, which should help me to visualize you. That's creepy that that light turned back on. That means that it thinks it saw something. It could be seeing the lasers though. Yeah, you're welcome to walk by. You could sit on the bed. That should be enough to block the laser. Additionally, you could talk into the audio recorder. You could interact with that green dot again, or you can sit beside me in front of these green dots. That's creepy. that green dot here, if you can make that go towards the red, people say that they see shadows in the dark, moving with intent and with purpose. Can you please walk by these lights? Earlier, I utilized this small green light and asked for you to move it. And as soon as I stopped recording it directly, it started going nuts. Was that you doing that, or was that just random happenstance? If you want to interact, can you tell me your name? People also say that they see someone that looks like they might have worked at the hotel or was maybe a guest at the hotel. Did you work here? Did you work here? Maybe you don't want to just sit here demonstrating that you're here. So I'm going to ask some questions, and if you feel like you want to answer them, you can do so in any of the ways that I've mentioned. Any interaction will be taken as a yes. Are you someone that worked here? Did you enjoy working here? Did you enjoy working here? Did you not like working here? Did you not like working here? Do you realize that you are... Oh, that was a weird noise over there. Alright, so I'm gonna leave this set up for a little bit. We got the GoPro recording. Sorry, I got... Okay, again, like we mentioned before, it just stopped. So I'm just gonna record this a little bit longer, just, in case there's any interactions that want to happen while the lights are on. Maybe take the pressure off of like, you have to interact with me, and just kind of let things be as they're gonna be. So yeah, nothing really else going on right now for the EMF. That GoPro though keeps making weird noises. And we're just gonna take some temperature again. I'm simultaneously very intrigued and terrified to see what photos come out of that thing. Alright. Well, I'm gonna turn off the So again, as soon as we were just sitting here for a while with nothing going on. Set it back down, and now this is going on. It's a bit more alarming that it's on the bed this time. Is there anybody there? All right, let's see if we can do some communication this time. All right, if there's anybody there, can you please stop interacting with the EMF? Please stop now. I'm going to need you to step away from the green light and stop having it interact. Thank you. Can you come closer again? Can you come back towards that green light? If there's somebody there, please step back towards that green light and make it go back toward the yellow or orange again. It's almost like you're here, but you don't really want to interact. Okay, well, I'm gonna pack it up then, and we'll try again later on. Thanks. So, I mean, it does seem to be like there's like a bit of a consistency in that, you know, I ask questions, nothing happens. I go just to check, just to see like maybe something will happen now, and then there's a bunch of responses. It's something that wants to communicate, but there's a delay in its ability to communicate. Something wants to stay hidden, and I keep catching it being around, and that's when it's like, oh crap. Or if there's a consistent thing that's giving off EMF. Yeah, I just wanted to, I happened to put it down, happened to see it, wanted to get it on tape, you know, before it turned off. And it seemed like as soon as I really recognized it, that's when it started turning off again. Okay, so I think the next thing to try to do is the spirit box on a low level with the EMF also going, because this is where we just had results right here. It does seem like whatever I'm trying to talk to, every time I really capture anything on the EMF, it disappears really quickly. So I'm thinking I'm gonna set up here, put the EMF on, try to capture some EVP at the same time right beside the spirit box, because I'm gonna do this quietly. And then I think I'm gonna slap on the thermal camera over here just to see if we can catch anything hot, cold, etc. With that.
Two things of note here are how intense the spirit box appears on the thermal camera. The intensity does not last throughout the investigation. I later pick up the spirit box and move it, and my own body heat does not transfer over to the same extent. Additionally, there's a discoloration scene which indicates there's something cooler on the left side of the bed where I was previously investigating.
Can you give me just a very clear yes, I'm here?
Just now?
That might have been here. Decade? What's up, baby? Alright, if you are here, can you please tell me what your name is? Sound like thank you. There might just be too much noise on the FM radio. Might have to switch it to AM.
AM mode.
Is there anybody here? Whoa. Okay, that's gotta be just this, right? If you're here, can you please do that again? Can you maybe speak up in the spirit box? Can you please tell me your name? so weird. Can you please make those lights go off again? You gotta be punctual though. Please make the green light go to red now. Make it go off now. It's a weird noise. Hearing some thumpy thumps. As soon as there's someone walking down the hallways though. Other people have said that they've seen people that look like they work here, or people that... Did you like me standing up? Or people said they see people that look like they work here, or a woman in white in the stairwell. Are you trapped here? You want to try to say that again? It's interesting that the EMF keeps going off too around the same time. Oh, never mind. Maybe you just find it easier to interact that way? Maybe instead of focusing your energy on this light, you focus... Okay. Maybe you just want to go with that one. Okay, can you focus your energy on this light again? Right, I'm going to assume that you don't want to talk if you don't say hello. If you can't say hello through the spirit box. If you're able to directly communicate with me, make that EMF go off again. Make that green light go off again. Alright, I'm going to pack this up then. Oh. Okay, let's give it a go. Have you transitioned into a nice place, or is it... Have you transitioned into a nice place? Yeah? Okay, that's good. Is this place someplace with your relatives? Is it someplace that you are alone? Are you not alone, but you're with people you don't know? Are you not alone, not with people you don't know, not with relatives, but with old friends? Are they maybe coworkers? Yeah. Well, that makes sense based on the location, and it kind of goes with the stories of here. So are you someone that used to work here then? You know what, it actually sounded like I said yes on the spirit box there. When did you work here? Can you speak in the spirit box again? Oh, okay. If that's too much, you can always go back to using the EMF over here. Did you... Okay. Did you used to own this place? Were you just an employee? Were you maybe not an employee and also not the owner? Are you maybe like security? If I go out into the halls later, will I see you? Are you only able to be in this room? Is this your way of saying that you have... I don't know, man. That was a good question on that one. I think that you're able to leave this room. Alright, well, I'm going to go out in the hallway in a bit. And I will see if I see you there. Okay, so based strictly on that, assuming that there was any sort of validity to that, it would seem that whatever we are talking to is someone that used to work for the hotel, which does confirm, or does align, sorry, not confirm, it aligns with some of what has been read on the internet. It sounded as though they're in a nice place, assuming again that any of that was accurate in my interpretation, and surrounded not with friends or family or strangers, but with coworkers, which I don't know if that sounds like a great place or not, depending on your job, I guess. I'll go and I'll try to walk the halls. It also seemed like whatever I was talking to, again, if I was interpreting right, said that it would, it might be able to, you know, manifest to some extent, and not in the hallway, potentially in the room, which I'm not really looking forward to that. But I mean, if that's what it takes to confirm whether or not there's existence after life, yeah, I guess you can be a ghost in my hotel room. I'm okay with that. Probably go and do just some simple stuff out in the hallway and in the stairwells, and then probably come back and try to just chill.
I went through 2 of the hallways and took some time at both stairwells. However, when reviewing the footage and audio recordings, there were no results. There was a lot of noise in both stairwells from laundry and heaters, which may have masked any EVPs.
Alright, so basically what I think I'm going to do from here on, you know, I've done a lot of work in this room. We had a lot of really weird responses on the EMF. We had, you know, some temperature fluctuation potentially. Definitely almost a little bit of back and forth maybe in the EMF. I haven't really been able to check the digital recorder or anything, but I also did notice, looking back at the thermal, there's some questionable stuff in the thermal as well as far as paranormal investigations go. I did the 2 stairwells just to see if there's any voices, and I kind of reached out to the whole woman in white. They say that she can push past you, and you feel her dress kind of push past, so I just kind of offered to, you know, push past me. Didn't feel anything, but you know, they were doing laundry. We'll take a look. We'll see if you hear anything in the recorder. It's when you're not paying attention that you actually get the interactions. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to call it a day or a night as far as recording goes. I'm going to throw on the TV, get into bed. I'm probably going to drink a beer. So I will see you guys in the morning. Well, it's morning now. I've cleaned up most of my stuff and I'm getting ready to head on out. The scariest part of everything is that the Keurig machine doesn't work, so I'm gonna have to go find some coffee somewhere else. As far as the night goes, everything was pretty smooth. I just kind of stayed awake, watched a bit of TV, finished up my beer. I didn't really see anything too convincing or anything like that. There was some noises throughout the night, such as like the regular bumps and clanks of a hotel room. You hear doors opening and closing. And while it is kind of weird because it was late at night, I don't know what other people are doing. Maybe the one thing that did happen was around 5 a.m. I woke up and I could have sworn I saw someone kind of sitting at the foot of the bed, maybe not on the bed, but it's crouched down here, or over by this chair. But I think what it really was just being 5 in the morning, waking up. And this is kind of the only thing that I could see because of how dark the room was. So just fortunately though, the cameras that I had set up, one of them was pointing toward the front door, and one of them was pointing directly from here toward the bed. So I think that's going to be the one blind spot. Is going to be right where that chair is. In addition to that, a lot of people do have concerns about bringing things with them when they're leaving places, and what dangerous entities you might encounter by opening portals and inviting them in. So at the start of this investigation, I've invited things to come and communicate. Whether or not that happened, I can't be sure yet. I need to go review the footage, but for precautionary measures, we do still have our 2 other sprays, one being Cleanse and one being Protect. So I think that we're just going to start with our Protect spray, and after that we're just going to go on with the Cleanse spray and see if we can't, doesn't sound like this place wants their place to be haunted, so I'll just give it a little spray. And there you go. I think that's going to be all that we really have for here. Just gonna be heading on out and trekking on back home. So I will see you later.
When reviewing this investigation, there was a number of interesting phenomena. There was a lot that aligned with the stories found online, such as potential cold spots, items moving on their own, variations in EMF that could have been communications through the K2, some small EVP and spirit box phenomena, weird noises at night, voices and footsteps in the hallways, and even a potential shadow man. An additional activity that I experienced was the cameras going off on their own, both the security IR cameras and the GoPro. When I reviewed these images though, 31 of them in total, there is nothing worth mentioning. When editing this video, I had to cut a lot that could have been considered evidence, such as me feeling cold despite no fluctuations in temperature across the room, and some voices on the spirit box that were too unintelligible to make out. The Stone Gate Inn is a remarkable hotel in Orillia and captures both the history of the town and brings a modern experience through their rooms and amenities. While I can't say for certain that I'm convinced that I had an interaction with something paranormal, it does align with what some of other people have experienced. So if you're ever in the area, I highly recommend venturing to the Stone Gate Inn for your own spectral searches.